a new vlog and welcome to Egypt as well. Let's see our first impressions about this country. Before we go into the actual vlog, I have to make a small disclaimer. We bought this trip through an agency, so it's not our own trip, so we don't actually see the unseen Egypt. We talk about only about the touristic side of it. We bought an all-inclusive package in Hurghada, in Makadi Bay more exactly. We wanted to enjoy the reef and snorkeling was a priority, and also we wanted to see how Egypt is like, because we heard lots of opinions like it's not safe or things like that, and we wanted to see if it's a country that we can do on our own or not. First thing that came in our way is the internet. We wanted to have internet on the phone, so we bought a SIM card from the airport, which was kind of a scam for us because we bought a SIM card with 10 euros and it's supposed to have 20 gigabytes, but that SIM ended up not working at all. We don't have internet at all. We can't phone anyone. We actually couldn't use, so there were 10 euros wasted for that. We even asked the guy that sold us the SIM card if we have to do anything else, and he said no, just put the SIM card in your phone and wait for 1 hour. We waited 1 hour, we waited 24 hours. We still have the SIM card in our phone waiting for the internet, but no, it's not working. We asked some people around here, maybe they could help us, but they said it's not possible because we have to go to the guy that sold us the SIM card in order to make it work. So when you buy a SIM card, make sure you ask them to activate it for you to be sure it's working. Don't leave the place until you see your internet is working. Another thing about the internet, I don't know if it's everywhere here, but on our hotel we didn't have the internet included, so we have to buy internet, like to have internet in our room. We paid 35 euros for 2 devices for 7 days, unlimited internet. It's working quite well. The next thing that I want to tell you is that the resorts, at least here in Hurghada, every resort is like a small town. When you go into the resort, you have like a security point. Every person that comes to pick you up is like they give the tourist in charge, so they have to take, when someone takes the tourist in a car, let's say you go on a trip or you take a taxi, that person that takes you is like the person responsible for you in a way, because if something happens to you, he will be the first one asked what happened to you. So in a matter of security, you are okay. Let's say in our situation that we are in Makadi Bay near Hurghada, if we want to explore on ourselves Hurghada or any other place, if we call a taxi, that taxi driver is gonna be legitimated because he took us, so the risk of kidnapping tourists is lower. But let's say the negative part of this one, in case you want to go on your own, you don't feel like you have the freedom to do that, although I don't think anyone will try to stop you. The third thing we noticed, and we kind of knew before coming here about Egypt, is that they ask you for tips everywhere. So if you go to have lunch, let's say, and waiter comes with a glass of water for you, they expect you to give a tip. If a guide shows you around, although it's his job, he expects a tip from you. If you go on a boat trip, the whole crew will want a tip. Basically, whatever you do, wherever you go, you'll be asked, or maybe someone will tell you in a way or another. Like, we went to a safari trip, and at the end of it, there were some women cooking, I don't know, a pita or something like that, and they had like a basket with money inside, like for the tourists to see. They can tip them for seeing that. The people around here are counting a lot on tips, so it's up to you if you want to tip them or not, but normally if you don't, they will treat you differently. We saw that ourselves. In a way, it's a downside about this. Sometimes I prefer paying more for a service and not be, I don't know, treated differently because I didn't tip. Like for example, we went on a camel ride, and the person that was having the camel took us some photos, and of course after he took our photos, he wanted a tip. Like, be mentally prepared for this, because although you know this happens, when you are in the situation, it's very weird, and it's I don't know, it can be challenging because you don't always have change with you, but the people normally change it, all the guides and everyone that gets tip, they will change money for you, and everywhere they accepted euros, so there's no problem about that. Another thing here in Egypt, the hotels and the resorts. Although they sell 5 stars hotels or 5 stars resort, they are not actually 5 stars. There are only few very little, maybe, I don't know, 0.5% of the hotels in Egypt that are actually 5 stars, as they say. Normally, if they say it's 5 stars, it's 3 stars maximum. Our resort, for example, although it looks very nice on the outside, the beach is impressive, I don't think I'll give it more than 2 stars. You can tell a hotel is gonna be good or not by the price. The more expensive it's gonna be, the better it's gonna be. The same with food, is not the best. Although they say it's all inclusive, they don't have everything all inclusive. You have to pay for certain things. It depends. The fifth thing I want to tell you about Egypt is the snorkeling, which is my favorite part. It's a positive one, this one. The snorkeling is absolutely amazing. You'll see a lot of corals, all the colors of fish in the water anywhere, especially in Makadi Bay where we are right now. We especially chose this area because I heard it's one of the most impressive about coral reef and snorkeling in general. So if you want to enjoy snorkeling, Egypt is the perfect place. The reef in Egypt is considered the second largest in the world and the second most beautiful after the Great Barrier Reef from Australia. If you want to snorkel, Egypt is definitely the perfect place to do that. I can't pronounce about the rest of Hurghada, but Makadi Bay is known for the barrier reef, so you'll find even near the beach. You don't have to swim very far. You don't have to book boat trip that take you snorkeling somewhere, I don't know, the middle of the sea. You don't have to go very far away. You don't have to book trips. If you book the right hotel with the right beach, with the right barrier reef, it's enough. You don't need anything else. Also, before moving forward, please subscribe to my channel if you like this video so far. The next thing that I want to talk about with you is that it gets dark very early, like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's already dark outside, and after that hour you can't go into the sea because firstly it's not allowed, because you might interfere with the natural habitat of sharks. Yes, because it's supposed to be sharks around. Although they told us the sharks are normally where are very deep waters, they normally don't come near the beaches. On the night time they are normally feeding, so it's better to not go into the water. It's not allowed by law anyways, so 6 o'clock is the latest hour. Another thing that I want to tell you about is the trips here in Egypt, how you can discover places here. When you come all-inclusive here in at least in Hurghada, you have, I think, only one option, which is explore by organized trips. There are multiple choices you can choose from boat trips to Orange Bay, Paradise Island, Eden Island, snorkeling trip, dolphin. So don't make yourself expectation about seeing any dolphins, because there is like 1% chances to actually see them. Maybe if you're lucky enough you'll see them. Other excursions that you can do here nearby is a tour of Hurghada. You can also do a safari trip with ATV and camera ride, and if you want to see the pyramids or Luxor, you can book a trip from Hurghada as well, although we chose to not do these trips because it's too far away. So if you want to go to Cairo, to the pyramids, the trip is gonna start 1 o'clock in the morning and it's gonna finish 1 o'clock in the morning, so it's 24 hours on the way, and you stay 1 hour, 2 hours maximum at the pyramids. In case you want to book any trips, I will leave some links in the description box. You can check the offer. Normally the local agencies from the country you booked the trip offer you trips as well, but sometimes they're more expensive. Just make sure when you book a trip from the links I give you, they have the pickup point your location, because normally they either don't have your location as pickup point or they charge you extra. So make sure you check this before booking. Another thing that I want to talk about is the weather. Although it's not full season, we are in March right now, there are still lots of tourists. It feels like summer here, so although the water can be a little bit cold in the morning and evening, can be a little bit chilly outside. In the middle of the day the weather is absolutely perfect for swimming, for staying on the beach, for tanning yourself. I'm already red here because the sun is very strong, so make sure you bring with you SPF 30, 50, and make sure you bring an SPF that is good for environment, because we don't want to mess with the very nice habitat of the fish and with the quality of the water as well, because the corals are very sensitive and they can die very quickly. One more thing that I want to tell you about Egypt is the people. Everyone seems to be very nice, at least in this resorts where the locals are counting on tourists for making a living here in Egypt. Everyone is very nice, very friendly, polite, especially if you tip them. If you don't tip them, their attitude towards you might change a little bit. Not with everyone. Some people are very nice with you even though you don't tip them, but some of them, they just expect a tip. We think Egypt can be dangerous in some places, but our experience, of course, all inclusive in the resort is not a way of telling if it's a safe, if a country is safe or not. But so far everyone was friendly with us. As I said at the beginning of the video, we wanted to see if we can visit this country on our own, because all inclusive is definitely not for us. It's not our way of traveling. We want to discover the places that no one's showing you. In the trips, when you book a trip, the guide will be with you everywhere. We had the other day a trip to Eden Island, which had included a snorkeling trip as well. So we stopped for snorkeling with a snorkeling guide, and that guide took us where to snorkel, and we had to follow. So you're not really on your own, not even when you snorkel. Of course, you can tell them you don't want to go in a place that they take you, but sometimes you might think you lose something, or you might lose some information that can be very interesting, so you follow the guide. The same with the ATV. We had the ATV tours. We had to follow the guide. We didn't have the option to stop, I don't know, taking photos, filming, enjoying the landscape. We had to follow the guide, and that everything. So this kind of traveling, definitely not for us. We knew that, but we hoped it's not gonna be as bad as actually was. Especially if you want to create content, you don't have the time to do that. You have to follow this schedule. So not even snorkeling is not a free time. You have to follow a guide. This was one of the parts that we didn't like. Although we knew, I repeat myself, we knew it's gonna be like this. You don't have time for not even 5 minutes to enjoy a place by yourself, because you're with a guide all the time. We're gonna come back to Egypt, but organizing differently everything. Of course, without an agency. We're gonna go to Cairo, visit the pyramids, and then Luxor, stay a few days over there, then every other places where it's not called Hurghada and Sharm el Sheikh, where you have to book trips in order to go anywhere. So if you want to come here and somehow want to pay a small price, because mostly if you come on your own, although all-inclusive can be cheaper than an agency. I will leave some links in the description box for some all-inclusive hotels. You can book them through booking.com. You don't need to buy them from the agency. Normally the agency sells you that price per person, but when you take through booking, that price is for 2 people, so can be half of the price. It depends on the flights, because normally the flights to Hurghada are charter flights through the agencies. So I'll leave the links anyway in case you want to compare the prices and find the best option for you. And also don't forget about the links that I leave for the trips that you can take here in Hurghada. And these were all the things and all the thoughts about Egypt. Let me know if you do an all-inclusive vacation or you're more like an independent tourist. Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys with the next adventure.